Hey guys, Tommy here just to talk a little more about what happened at the European Remote YCS. It was super recent, and I just want to talk about like kind of what developed in the meta for this YCS to go the way it did. Um, Obviously, Swordsoul got a dub here, but it didn't get a dub in mine or in Pasadena because actually Bird Ups like went insane, even though they didn't top 16 in my YCS at all. So let's look at this breakdown. We have Swordsoul Tenyi at first, and then Lyrilusc Tri right behind it. I don't know if these decks are equal. I do think Swordsoul Tenyi is better, so I mean maybe that one spot does just speak for something. Drytrons I do think are such a powerful deck. I think they can main deck cards that really hurt Swordsoul, so it's not as bad of a matchup as I used to think. Like with 3 Lancia, with token collectors in the side, there's just like a lot you can do, and Drytron's still really strong. We have a lot of rogue decks. We have Sky Striker, Floowandereeze, B Trooper, Tri-Brigade DPE, Phantom Knights. Not really anything like too cool besides the Print Kids and maybe the Floowandereeze, but only one Invoked Dogmatica. Pretty insane. I think it's definitely a remote duel deck, whatever that means, or just a dueling book deck, because whenever I play it, I brick so much. But let's look at the actual list. So Simon He won this event. He was playing Swordsoul without Deskbot, and he was playing even more interestingly, I think, Shatana without the circles. You don't need Shatana with circle, even though Shatana is, I still think, a terrible card to draw. I would much rather have 3 Adhara. It does come up where you have just a Moye, and then you can special summon with a Shuna at the level, or just a token, and then you special summon with a Shuna the level 4 from deck to synchro. I don't think people usually leave tokens up like that to verse me. It's also interesting because if you did that, they could summon you. Now maybe because summon's going out of the meta, people don't play like that, but it's kind of hard to say if that card was good. I know Simon He is insane. I mean, I looked up to him when I was a kid, like literally playing Agent. So that was kind of cool to see him do well. He played this card in the extra deck. It's an at Ignister card. All it does is when one of your monsters would be destroyed, you can protect it by detaching a material. Also, additional effect, you can detach 1 card from it to destroy monsters up to the number of at Ignisters you have. So if your opponent just has 1 monster, you can destroy it, attack, and then make Zeus. So really good versus token collector. The side, 3 Drolls, Driver, Gammas, pretty much Floodgate here, then the Gammas. I think these are insane. The token collectors are surprising because he's probably just calling lights and then using token collector to just seal the deal, because usually the Tenyis can get you there, but with token collector and your already Swordsoul deck, it might be hard in the mirror for them to out that because they're just so unprepared. And they can't, as soon as they summon 1 Swordsoul, they've already used that effect, so definitely has potential. If I were to play it, I would play this level 7 card that Foolish Burials something to the grave. I think that's a really cool tech. I know Pat was siding that at this last YCS, so definitely very cool. 2-dimensional barriers. I think he was just saying that I don't really need these strong going first cards. I just want more going second cards, more hand traps like Cosmic Cyclone for spell trap removal. He's already manning the Imperial Order, so definitely cool list. Definitely what I would have played. I probably would have cut Imperms and put in an Upstart Goblin and just said, let's roll. Just because like I said, I don't think it's that strong anymore. Effect Veiler is a level 1 tuner, so that comes up too. So congrats to him. We have a Lyrilusc Tri list with a bunch of one-offs. Interesting. So we have Cosmic, a Chalice. So he has 2 Mystic Mine outs, which is surprising. Maybe this is just because there's a lot of use 1 card effects, but he's also citing the dimensional barriers. I think this Mist Valley card, or whatever it's called, Mystical Beast, is really cool side tech. I'm interested what this link is, but I don't know. It looks like it's just a little regular fire link. I wonder what he used that for. But not much to see. The main deck Nibiru's are definitely a cool tech. I think that helped him out a lot. The Ashes, only 2 droplets is surprising with 1 Chalice. You know, he definitely wanted to have like a mix of cards rather than just go in on one strategy. One anti-spell on this side is interesting. 1 nib, I did that. 3 Duels, so Duel is probably pretty good for this event. Might be a good meta call, especially with all the random decks you see at remote duel events. Now, here we have a Drytron player that said no to DPE. I don't know if I necessarily agree with this. The DPE lets you scythe through droplets, but obviously he's not playing Scythe. He's still playing Imperial Order, but with no Aurora, or no, he's playing Auroradon. So he's playing Auroradon with Imperial Order. That's probably all he needs with his, you know, Infinite Negate, with his Ultimateness, and his Eva into Herald. So he's still got a lot of hate with the Lancias, like I was talking about. Interesting, he's playing Monster Reborn. I haven't seen that card played and done this well, so that's really cool to see someone actually bring it back. I think his extra deck's super tight and it looks pretty good. It's probably what I would play if I was playing Drytron. The 3 Mystic Mines on the side, I think that's super strong, and I think he was so correct in doing so. I mean, the 1 Skill Drain, 1 Royal Decree, 1 Goza Match. I think Goza Match is actually the best Floodgate right now, even better than There Can Only Be One. So, Twin Twister is probably the best back row hate because it just works versus everything. The Denko Sekka's OP card you can play in only this deck, for real. And the Lava Golems because he doesn't really normal summon anyway besides Diviner. Something that's also cool to keep in mind when you're doing Master Duels is you can play Lava Golem in the main of your Drytron deck. So I would definitely consider that if you've been grinding. Now we have Sky Strikers at 4th, so he didn't get a prize card. Apologies to you. He plays a lot of hand traps. I'm assuming he played against the Tenyi Swordsoul in top 4 because it's such a rough matchup. Even with the There Can Only Be Ones, if you lose the die roll, it's going to be an uphill battle. He sides with Lancia, so Lancia, Droll, Token Collector, and Nibiru have made a really strong representation at this event. Even Effect Veiler. I mean, hand traps in general is just something that people can't get away from. And like I've said, I don't know how Yu-Gi-Oh! Has gotten to such a point like this where hand traps are so powerful and everyone feels like they have to include them. But that's just how it is, and I guess that's not going to change. Another Drytron, was he playing? No, also not playing DP, so that's interesting. 2 Drytron players not playing DP. This one siding 3 Nibiru, and also siding Drools, Imperm, so kind of going into, I don't know about sided Imperm. I feel like that's not strong enough. I know a lot of Drytron players do that, but to not see any Lancias in this deck and to see the Imperms, I really question that. I also think the 3 Mystic Mine is really good. Siding the Natasha, also interesting. We noticed he's playing Boral Sword Dragon over which the other deck wasn't. I think that card's actually pretty good in Drytron. You need it to go for game a lot of the time. But I do question this list. He's still got the order. He's running the lower level Herald, so it's kind of cool to see that one was running Ultimateness, one's running the level 6. I think I pretty much said what I thought for the other list, but 2 lists not running Scythe, I think that's pretty surprising because Scythe is just such a powerful card. Here we have Dogmatica invoked. I don't even want to look at this. He's playing Gammas, Nibs, Ashes. Like I said, the hand traps. A problem being with this deck, I just really feel like it bricks a lot, but he probably got unlucky, didn't play a Sword Soul counter, and then lost to one of the Drytron players, or the Bird, or the, what was it? Striker. Probably played one of them. Sorry, real quick. Okay. Apologies. So he's only siding 1 Dark Ruler. He sides 2 Droplets. I think that's kind of interesting, because I do think he'd have this deck already on paper just looks like it has such a problem with birds going second. So that's kind of what this deck is now in the meta. It's just a meta call. Hopefully you get a bracket with Sword Soul, a lot of Sword Soul, because, you know, you can just mop the 4. They make one misplay, any mistake, any money match I've played versus Dogmatica, you mess up one time and that's the whole match. So definitely a threat for any Sword Soul player, but even thinking about that, then you just got to play perfect with Sword Soul and then you still have the best deck. So that's my opinion on Invoked Dogmatica. We have a top 8 Sword Soul. Finally get to see one again. This time running Crossout Designator. Unfortunately, I doubt there's any price increase because of this, but you know, it's nice to see. He has the 1 Nibiru for it. He has the desires that which might conflict, but I think this is a pretty average, solid, all-around list. I don't like the idea of just playing one Veiler because you think you might want to search it with Chao Feng. I think it's crazy that he's playing the guy that searches any rock, so he actually was probably searching Nibiru and then attacking and making Zeus. Pretty cool, because I've never actually thought of that. So to see that, I think is the highlight of this deck, besides even the designators. Just cool Zeus plays with Swordsoul strategies. I used to run it, but then I thought the extra deck was too tight to do so. So I'm definitely impressed by this. And he cited the token collectors as well. So Gamma, Token Collector, Nibiru, Ash. These are really powerful cards right now, including Impermanence, but I've already said my thoughts on those. This list did run Circle, so this last list had no Circle, so people are definitely deviating away from that. Same with Summit. This list has Summit, Circle. It kind of seems behind. He's playing just a generic Link 2, which is interesting. I don't know why you want to just like play 2 Shamans, considering most of your cards are Worm. I mean, yeah, that's. I guess for there can only be one. Maybe he has some out for that. But I like the 3 Dark Rulers inside. I like the 3 Cosmics. I like the Solemn Judgments. I mean, it's just any going first card. Summon, Limit, Solemn. You know, take your pick. Anti-Spell, Fragrance, Order. If you need it, if you feel like you need it going first and your deck can't win anyway, play them, right? I definitely see it struggling more in the mirror going first, so it makes sense. I think Red Reboot's so powerful. So I like this list. I wonder how many times he summoned Rudy Rose, because not having 2 Boxia just seems crazy to me. Dragon Links, that's really cool. I love Dragon Link. I just think they lose so hard to hand traps like Nibiru. But it's a really cool deck. Kind of just seems like a thing of the past. It has so many interactions, so many options. So I love playing this deck, but I just feel like it has so much trouble with cards like Nibiru and all these other cards that just like hurt Swordsoul, like even Summon Limit he's got. They also hurt you. Lancia hurts you. So it's not in a good place right now, but it's definitely cool to see it actually top again. He's got the primary hand traps we've been talking about, how good they are. Just a generic Tri, Fusion Destiny. We saw this earlier in the top 16 report. So we're playing around Max C. It's basically a Master Duel deck, right? Besides the DPE engine. We're playing around Max C, but I think the Lyra Bird Up is just so much more powerful, and I think that's why he went further than this guy. I definitely like this guy's list. I think it's nice and tight, but I just can't see it being better than the other version. Just like DPE Swordsoul, right? Another Lyra Bird list. Anything cool about this one? He's citing the 3 Floodgates. I don't even think you need it. But did the other guy say that? Let's see real quick. Because it's actually interesting. No, he went with D-Barrier over that. Probably more consistent of a Floodgate for him. So probably helped him out a lot. I see so many people complain about this card, but realistically, you can still win anyway, because they can just brick, summon their Vault, activate that, and then they still don't draw into anything, because you have outs now. You get to set a card. Alright, so now we have another Swordsoul Tenyi list with 2 Veilers. I don't know. 3 Droplets, really good. He's still playing the Summit, could have probably went to 40. 2 Circles, good. I love Vessel. I think you gotta play Vessel. It's too powerful of a card. Foolish Burial, +1. Yeah, I want that. So definitely cool to see the Drolls, the Gammas. No Token Collectors, so maybe Token Collector was actually pretty good this event. We got a Bug list. We love Bugs. One of my favorite decks to play, just because you play with your whole deck in your hand. I don't really know what to say about this, because I feel like this deck's getting kind of perfected, right? There's not many changes from the old list, so it's kind of at its plateau, and people know what it does, so that's probably why it didn't go as far. But who knows how much representation it actually had in the tournament throughout the event. Another Bird Up list. Nothing much to say. Same thing. He runs the Floodgates instead, so it's 2 Token Collectors. I like that it's not 1-ofs. He's got a lot of 3-ofs, so cooler to me. But maybe the Highlander strategy is actually worth it, optimal. Another Swordsoul Tenyi. He's playing Dragite over Rudy Rose. Size 3 Chalice. I don't agree with that just because it just seems like such a main deck card if you believe in that strat. What you're just siding it for token collector, right? I don't know. Siding Chalice going first seems weird. I'd rather just side a going second card like Dark Ruler. But then again, when you get deeper into the tournament, you might find out things like people are playing token collector, then you side Chalice going first in the mirror. Who knows what his thought process was behind that, but congrats to him. I'd probably play 3 Adhara. A lot of people not playing 3 Adhara. I don't know. Adhara seems like a really good one. Going first, it's the best, but Vashuda's definitely better going second, obviously. Just helps you get into that Chow Fang, which is so powerful in the mirror. Another bird up list, having the balls to play 3 Mystic Mine on the side and 2 Impermanence in the main. I don't even know why he sides the 3rd Impermanence. You might as well just, like, you know, not do that strat, but decided to side 1. Have the Downer Magician. Pretty standard list, I would say. 3 Nibiru's, 3 Trolls is cool, but he might have needed the droplets, actually, or a card like Mystic Mine might have not gotten that far, going second some of the games. But I think this is one of the better lists we've seen besides the guy that got top 4. Just because, I mean, results prove everything, I guess, right? So that's the whole top 16. I hope you enjoyed this video and it wasn't too long. I think it's nice and fun to just like talk about, you know, these subtle differences in decks and maybe why it was what took someone to top 4 instead of top 16. So hope you enjoy. Subscribe. I'm going to keep trying to do these videos that just talk about the competitiveness of all these events. So if you enjoy that, just subscribe. I appreciate it so much. Bye.